Have you ever felt that sting in your chest when someone you cared about walked away, acting like you were just another chapter they closed without hesitation? What if I told you, there's a way to make her not just think about you, but to regret letting you go? Not by chasing, not by pleading, but by mastering something so rare and powerful that even Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, lived by it. Welcome to Stoic Lifeline TM. If you're tired of heartbreak, confusion, or feeling like you're always the one trying too hard, this video will change your love life forever. Stick around to the end, because once you understand these 6 Stoic traits, you won't just move on, you'll level up. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications, so you don't miss the power-packed wisdom coming your way. And trust me, you'll want to watch this one to the very end. Point 1. Emotional detachment is power. Do you recall the last time you gazed into someone's eyes and felt a profound sense of ownership? It may have been just a mundane moment. You were cuddled up together, laughing at a ridiculous joke or enjoying a movie. Here you are at home, your heart murmured in that very second. But at this very moment, like a stranger passing by, that same individual keeps popping into your head. Even worse, they are completely immobile. I can't find them. Not allowed. Put out of mind. Got over it. If the anguish remains, if thoughts of them surface in music, on streets you once strolled, or in the stillness of your chamber, I hope you will listen. Having these feelings is not a sign of weakness. But if you wish to gain strength from your sorrow, there is one reality you must accept. You are the master of your own thoughts, not the world around you. The Republic by Marcus Aurelius. Nobody can make you love them back. People won't value you more if you try to make them. However, mastering your own emotions is within your reach and an absolute necessity. As a first step, one must emotionally disengage. Being emotionally detached does not imply that you cease to care completely. It signifies you no longer let the value of another person be determined by their absence. Goodbye, 2 a.m. message rereading in the vain hope of a response. Silencing them is a step toward healing, not vengeance. The name Ray is on my mind. He collapsed after his girlfriend dumped him. She meant everything to me, he said over and over again for weeks. On the other hand, what is real? To be meaningful to himself was something he had lost sight of. Some change occurred the second he ceased pursuing her specter. Then he began to read. Getting fit. Opting to spend more time outside rather than in his suite. And you know what? The day he stopped caring if she returned. On that particular day, she wrote, I miss you. The irony is in that. Distancing yourself changes the energy. You are healed. What about those who used to be oblivious to your existence? Your silence weighs heavily on them. This begs the question, what is one little step you can do right now to separate yourself? Decide to unfollow? Was the thread deleted? Write down the things you never spoke. This has nothing to do with losing touch with her. The key is to keep you in mind. Point 2. Silence is a strategy, not a weakness. Is yelling at them something you've ever considered? Just once, to let them know how much they hurt you because of what they did? You promised me forever, you might have intended to remark. What made you disappear like a ghost? Your silence was deafening. You made no noise. That stillness, though, swallowing flames, was the sensation. I can see you, I swear. That stillness in your chest is palpable to me, the sort that reverberates more than a farewell shout. Would you believe me if I said that remaining silent may actually be your best tactic? You see, there was a guy called Adil. His fiancée abruptly abandoned him. End of conflict. Missing resolution. Her responses abruptly ceased. He lingered over the keyboard for weeks, wondering, why are you doing this? Isn't our presence missed? Tell me something, please. However, Adil's life took a dramatic turn when he read, the surest way to get even with the person who hurt you is to act differently from him. The Republic by Marcus Aurelius. He also failed to transmit the message. The option to remain silent was his, in no uncertain terms, but a response was less important than the tranquility that his spirit deserved. That stillness? It was not vacant, a holy place. Being silent does not mean you are uncaring. Showing yourself that you are more important than their rationale is the main goal. Silence allows the other person to experience their own echo, which is a powerful tool in communication. Furthermore, that reverberation, your lack of presence, is more noticeable than any message. Her communication to him 2 weeks later was brief. Could we have a conversation? The strength of quietness washed over her. The change, the weight of the feelings. The question I want to pose to you is this: on this occasion, what if you choose not to contact me? Would she still notice the quote if you didn't share it? Imagine if your quiet expression conveyed more than your words ever could. Reason being, it does. "I won't beg for the love I deserve," is what your silence conveys. It reads, "I will allow you to go if you can. I value my own worth more than your approval," it reads. Something remarkable occurs when you remain silent. Not out of spite but strength, you cease to wait. Your body begins to mend. Put your eyes closed for a moment. Imagine if she were to read your former communication. Then imagine her coming to terms with the fact that there will be no more. It is in such moments of stillness that they will think about you. Point 3. Stop seeking closure. You are the closure. Allow me to pose a question to you. Do you remember lying in bed and thinking about how that final minute felt? Curious, did I utter anything incorrect? Did she ever genuinely care about me? Or even worse, why wasn't I given a proper farewell? Yes, it is the most painful aspect. This is due to the fact that closure is analogous to the last page of an unfinished book. The stillness too? Unexpectedly, it ends on a cliffhanger. The one thing no one ever tells you when your heart breaks is that you have to give yourself closure. The story of a man named Hamza is one I'd like to tell you. He was deeply in love, a love so profound that the mere mention of her name fills your heart with joy. They were discussing future plans, secrets, and vacations. After that, she vanished without a trace. End of conflict. Completely without prior notice. Absolutely no sound whatsoever. Message sent. Get in touch. Tragic, heartfelt voice memos left behind. No response. Time passed from weeks to months. Even yet, he persisted in his grip, convincing himself, "I just need to know why." But after that, everything changed. He halted one night as he looked through old images. On his own, not on hers. In that self-representation, he saw no familiar face, lost, very frantic, broken. Whispering to himself, he finally came to terms with the fact that he was sick of waiting. "I am the answer I have been seeking." The fact is, you don't get closure from them. You treat yourself to it when you come to terms with the fact that their silence was a response. Perhaps you're glued to the screen, patiently awaiting her final text message in which she will explain everything. Perhaps you've composed 100 messages before erasing them all. But I must ask, what if she chooses not to respond at all? For the rest of time, will you put your emotions on hold? Getting her okay to go on is unnecessary. Her approval is unnecessary for you. You have not yet been completed. Nobody finds you unlovable. The story ends with you. The calmness is in you. Therefore, I want you to conjure up an impressive mental image right this second. Get in a deep slumber. Inhale deeply. And tell yourself quietly, "I release you, and I forgive you." That's the end. That's therapeutic. You win that way. Point 4. Become unrecognizable to the past version of you. Return with me. Consider your life before she came into it. You, the one with the wild ambition, self-assurance, and piercing gaze, right? Or were you already exhausted, hoping silently that love might mend your fractured pieces? After she leaves, I want to see how you look. You haven't died yet, standing tall. And maybe, just maybe, you're prepared to stand up now. Reason being, this very spot here. Here's the backstory of your villain. I realize that sounds over the top. Continue nevertheless. Some time ago there lived a man named Osman. All he could feel was love. Encircled her with his universe. Forgot about working out, abandoned his aspirations, and cut ties with pals. He gave her his everything, but in doing so, he lost a part of himself. What next? Afterwards, she departed. And he broke down. Strange as it may seem, sadness might really turn out to be your biggest achievement. Instead of sending her another message, he decided to start a new journal entry and wrote, "She doesn't deserve the same version of me she left." Everything shifted after that. He went to the gym for his own benefit, not out of vengeance. He dove into the works of great philosophers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. To reawaken his sense of vitality, he erased his previous playlists and created fresh ones. Neither she nor he could recognize him. He was completely transformed. The most lovely aspect is that she was able to see the change months later on Instagram. The guy she had abandoned, devastated and in need of help, now radiated determination, her hand extended. By that point, though, he had outgrown the part of himself that yearned for her return. And I hope that for you. Would she feel like she left a king when she saw your profile? Enthusiasm and life right now? On the other hand, would the son she left behind still be there? Simply put, getting her back isn't the challenge. To reach a level of strength, purpose, and evolution where one is really formidable, ensuring that she would never risk losing you once more. So consider this. How will you appear in your future self? What does he usually do? How does he think? Who does he associate with? Just so she knows you aren't rebuilding for her sake. As you put yourself back together, you'll be able to look back and think, wow, I can't even remember who I was. Stoicism is that is vengeance devoid of animosity. There is healing in honoring it. Point 5. Master the art of emotional detachment. This question I'm about to ask you could sting. Is it possible that letting go of the one you love most in order to heal? Does that sound harsh? Unfortunately, the fact is that the grief you're experiencing isn't only due to her departure. The reason behind this is because you possess emotional attachments to those who have passed away. And perfecting emotional distancing, that has nothing to do with getting chilly. Picking tranquility over fixation is the key. Let's name him Adil. There's a tale about him. For hours on end, he would fixate on his phone. The idea of not messaging her, only to view her profile online. The little green spot. They were holding out hope. Naive optimism. He refused to let go. He couldn't move. He was emotionally attached to someone who wasn't giving him a second thought. He even went so far as to try dating someone else after banning and unfollowing everyone. But it was ineffective. He believed she was still living rent-free in his imagination. A remark from Marcus Aurelius finally piqued his interest. If you decide not to be hurt, you won't even realize it. Please don't worry. You are not hurt and never were. Something clicked. Eliminating her images wasn't the point of detachment. The key was to erase the significance he had given her absence. Adil accomplished anything significant that day. He never mailed the farewell letter he sent to her. He spilled everything upon the paper. All the best. Every single one of my tears, each and every one of my dreams. After he was through with it, he lowered it, said, "I release you," and then set it ablaze. For the first time in months, he slept soundly that night. Being emotionally detached is a powerful ability, you know. No, it doesn't make you emotionally detached. The reason being that it renders you impenetrable. You should not continue to empower those who have lost all interest. Their affection is no longer necessary for your fulfillment. Put an end to pursuing, pleading, and waiting. Choose who you want to be. Now is the time to consider her name. How frequently does it reverberate within you? What percentage of your heart is still devoted to her? Think about how good it would feel if you could just let it all go. An end to meaningless chatter. Forget about seeing whether she's moved on. She doesn't miss you anymore. That's a given. Absolutely no sound whatsoever. A calming, restorative stillness. For the simple reason that you can't just ignore her. When you emotionally distance yourself, turning around, you return to who you really are. Point 6. Rewrite your love story, with yourself as the hero. My final thought is going to change the way you look at things completely. What if she isn't the one with whom you have the most profound love story? Imagine it's in your presence. We learn from a young age that love is mostly for other people, that we can't be whole without her smile, her touch, just being there. However, there is a radical teaching in Stoicism. No matter what happens in the world, you can control your thoughts. Discover this and you'll discover your inner strength. Daniel is the name of a man I knew in the past. He embodied the archetypal hopeless romantic, consistently giving more than he received. Who was in his romantic life? A never-ending loop of trading his soul for breadcrumbs. After that, it happened. Until she stopped being unique, she stood out. Afterwards, she departed. He broke just like the rest of us. However, he declined to spiral and instead decided to do something else. "I have spoken my heart out to every single person," he declared. "I should probably write one to myself now." He went on a solitary adventure, shopped for flowers for himself, went on dates by himself. He made a list of 10 qualities he admired in himself. Not Instagram friendly? Skip posting. He needed this little reminder that his life's true hero was Daniel hasn't merely recovered. Throughout his life he changed, because you become irresistible. When you adore your personal journey, your development, your serenity, and your strength, everyone can sense it. She could feel it too. She sent him a note that said, "You feel different." He smiled and said, "I am, and I hope that for you." She isn't necessary for your affirmation. You are deserving of nothing less than the love and support of this woman. In your life, you play a key role. Here is the process for rewriting your story. Get up and go for you. Wear what makes you feel beautiful. Exercise, relax, construct, get up for yourself. Achieve the manhood your younger self envisioned. Become the kind of man that your future self will be grateful to you for. What if love returns? Allow it to enrich your life, not fill it to the brim, for the simple reason that you will now be the author. Confer with the pen. What about you? This is only the beginning. The complete loop, her remorse. Now we can finish what we started. She feels remorseful because she witnesses a side of you she never anticipated. More smiles appear on your face and she notices it. Raise the grinding pressure. A life lived with more freedom. Using less words. Relying on no one. The fact that you aren't hanging around makes her regret it. You are climbing. And there is the magic of Stoicism. It turns sorrow into strength. Retaliation is not the point here. Nothing here has to do with getting her back. Getting back on your feet is the focus here. Her remorse won't matter after you've mastered these 6 Stoic characteristics. You'll be too preoccupied with being the guy she always imagined you might be. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.